Orleans, and welcome to the Good Morning Show, right here on WBOK, 12:30 a.m. on your radio dial. And you can also listen to us on YouTube, the WBOK YouTube channel. And you can also listen to us on IG, and you can listen to us on Facebook Live, of course. I'm Will Sutton. The Lord has blessed me with yet another day, woke me up, planted my feet on the floor, allowed me to say a prayer, and get on my way to our Black Talk radio station. And I'm happy to be here again. Behind the glass, we got Gerard, and next to me, we got Eddie Francis.
Morning.
Morning, man. How was the drive?
It was actually a pretty smooth drive this morning.
Good.
Yeah, it was pretty smooth.
How was that?
People behave for the most part.
I was going to say, how was that sister in that one car?
Oh, I didn't see her.
What?
Didn't see her.
Maybe she took the day off?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, at least it made it safer.
But wherever she is, I hope she's driving safely.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's a pretty decent day outside.
Mm-hmm.
Not bright and sunny. Not hot and humid. Not raining and thunderstorms. Kind of a little in the middle or below the middle. I mean, It's cloudy out there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't feel too humid this morning as it did yesterday. That was
Yeah,
that was
it
pretty
was.
humid.
It
That was
was.
pretty humid. And no bright sunshine, cloudy, not foggy, so you kind of see your way driving around.
Mm-hmm.
Comfortable, but the temperature is going to be going up. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So
We are finally in. It's hot. We're getting there.
Yep. So we're going to be going up in temperatures, and we'll be hitting up into the 70s in no time, and that's like this hour.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll be in the 70s and in the high 70s, and then we'll see where we go from there. For those of you all looking ahead, because it's Thursday already, we can tell you that look for some rain Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But it kind of depends on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like our friend Damon Singleton says, if it's a 36% chance of rain, doesn't mean it's going to rain in your neighborhood.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But there's a 36% chance somewhere. So the higher the percentage, the more likely it is that it'll rain in your neighborhood or nearby, and more of the greater New Orleans coverage area. So we're looking at a 36% chance of rain on Friday, 75% on Saturday. That's getting up there, 75%, and down to 55%. But above 50% chance of rain. So probably Saturday and Sunday. Depending on what times of day you're going out and about, if you're going to go to one festival or another, or church, or go make groceries, and you might encounter some rain. You might want to watch it so that you can time it accordingly if you don't like to do things in the rain.
So you're telling me I need to cut my grass today?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Because tomorrow, the 36% might be in my neighborhood and not yours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it might be in yours and not mine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if I were you, and if you have the time, today would probably be a better day. Doesn't mean tomorrow's not an option for cutting grass and dealing with the shrubbery and other outdoors chores. Just, if you really want to know, then take a closer look at the weather and the timing of the precipitation throughout the day, which, of course, with all these tools and resources we have these days, is pretty easy to do. But just keep in mind that as you look at it, it's not your house or your street in your neighborhood. So give you a deeper sense. So,
Got it.
So, but if you want to get grass cut, don't count on a weatherman.
No. All right. I'll be cutting this afternoon.
Okay.
Then.
All right. That sounds good. Well,
backyard needs some love.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there are, of course, lots of things going on in our city, in our state, in the nation, and the world. And right here at home, we're still looking at you know you know how things went with the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival,
Hmm.
and we're also looking at what's going to happen with the what's the store on Canal Street? Geez, they're closing.
Saks.
Yeah,
Hmm.
which is like a big hole.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I'm hoping that some of you all who are Saks customers will call us today and let us know about that and what's going on with that. And we're going to have a special edition this morning because if it's Thursday morning and it's the Good Morning Show, you know what that means. We're going to be talking to Congressman Troy Carter, and he's got lots on his mind. And so we're going to spend some time with him. But we have a special guest today. So go ahead and pull out your phone, text somebody, call somebody, send an email. If you want to do a telegraph, I guess you can find a way to do that. But let them know that Congressman Troy Carter of the 2nd District, our district, will be joined by U.S. Representative Cleo Fields of the 6th District, the man whose district was the subject of the Calais suit that did not go our way last week with the 63 decision to say that a district drawn like that is racially motivated, it is unconstitutional, but you can do things for political reasons.
Hmm.
It's okay to do things for political reasons. If you want to benefit my reading, yourself or your party, your state party, then yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Just don't look at race as a
Yeah.
part of it,
Hmm.
and all the remedies that the Voting Rights Act, Section 2, has provided for us over the last several decades. So, real important stuff. It's going to keep coming up, folks. It's going to keep coming up because there are legal challenges of all kinds and that are underway. And there'll be more things that will be associated with that. There's going to be a big rally in Baton Rouge at the state capitol on tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. So that's they're looking to bring out as many people as possible because Friday morning, the Louisiana State Legislature is due to start the process of redistricting the state of Louisiana in terms of U.S. House seats. So we've got 2 black congressmen, and the rest of the Louisiana delegation is white. We got 1 white Republican congresswoman, but she won't be a congresswoman. She's running for U.S. Senate. She hopes that will be her next job. And we have 2 Democrats, the 2 black people, Cleo Fields and Troy Carter. So on Friday, they will be looking at how to redraw to be consistent with the Supreme Court's ruling that the previous map, the current map, is unconstitutional. So how do you take our desires, needs, and representation into account without eliminating a majority, minority, or an opportunity district that right now looks like Cleo Fields or Troy Carter?
Yeah. And the conversation that I had with Ashley Shelton on the show on Tuesday, one of the things that was just a core topic of that conversation is there's nothing here about fairness. As you mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, I mean, this is politics, and as long as this politics is okay, as long as this is ideological, this is fine. But embedded in that is an abuse of power. And something that I think is worth reiterating and something that I think a conversation that we can have on social media that is a conversation that I think would reach other people is that this abuse of power doesn't just impact the black community. It impacts the state. It impacts the community, period. Because when you have this abuse of power, you have people who are engaged in, and I've been on this thing for the past couple of weeks, these people who are engaged in this self-centered leadership. Well, when you have that, you have people who are doing things that are going to serve their needs and not the state's needs. And unfortunately, the people who thought that they were voting for something that would bring them everything that they wanted when they cast their vote for the 2024 presidential election, the people who thought that it would help them out, or the people who said, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of the woke ideology, the woke this, the people who said all that and they cast their vote based on that, they've already been finding out that none of this has been about serving them. This has all been about serving the people who have the titles, the people who are in power right now. Something that Ashley said that I think is very much worth remembering. And again, this is a conversation that we need to have on social media, is that when black folks win, everybody wins. And that is something that whenever people say, oh, I'm so tired of voting rights, I'm so tired. Whenever we have those people who say that they're tired of quote unquote woke ideology, they're tired of the affirmative action, they're tired of the Voting Rights Act and all that stuff, and they're tired of black folks getting quote unquote preferential treatment, they need to be reminded that when black people win, the entire country wins. And it is not to take anything from anybody, although you can't convince them of that. They they think that when black folks gain something, it's being taken from white people. But it's there. Look at what we're getting right now. The economy is not doing great. I don't know what the gas prices are around where you are, but right now there's a sign that I pass on the way to the South Shore that says $3.99 a gallon.
I just saw one for 404 and another one for 414.
I mean, if that doesn't tell you where the economy is headed, and on top of that, we have more people out of work, and with more people being out of work, people are, as a matter of fact, there was something I read not too long ago that talked about how many people in the country are just living off their credit now. So people are doing everything. They're buying everything. People are maxing out their credit cards. People are dipping into their retirement. And this has all been happening since early 2025. Coincidence? I think not. And so this redistricting, although it looks like an attack on the black community only, it is not only an attack on the black community. Right. It is an attack on democracy, and it is an attack on everybody, every single person in this state who is not some kind of millionaire or something. And we don't have that many of them in the state. So, this is what we have now. And now we have a case where I think people are about to learn the hard way yet again that not only when black people win, everybody wins, but when black people lose, a lot of people lose.
Right. Well, we're going to take a quick break so we can get that business taken care of. We'll come back for a few minutes, and then we'll be talking to Congressman Cleo Fields and Congressman Troy Carter. So we're going to take that break right now. There will be an opportunity for questions for Congressman Carter as usual on Thursday. We'll try to get to as many as possible. Ask you not to call until we have the opportunity to finish the conversation with the two high-level black elected officials in our state, Cleo Fields and Troy Carter. So the talk line number is
504-582-9422, 504-582-9422.
All right. Remember that request, please. This is WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Kubel, and here are today's headlines for you. Chaos on the Causeway as the suspect accused in a multi-parish crime spree jumps into Lake Pontchartrain. Video shows police hoisting up the suspect in a rescue basket after they say that he spent nearly 30 minutes in the lake. Investigators say Kentrell Saunders is accused of driving a stolen white pickup onto the causeway after trying to carjack someone at a store in Mandeville. They say that he ran out of gas and then jumped into the lake. He was taken to the hospital. Investigators say that he is also accused of a home invasion and stabbing a man multiple times in Assumption Parish yesterday. He is expected to face several charges. Louisiana lawmakers are taking new action after that senseless mass shooting at the Mall of Louisiana that left a high school student dead and several others hurt. With no opposition, the Senate added an amendment to House Bill 102, expanding who can be charged with first-degree murder. The definition now includes killings in public spaces where at least 3 people faced a risk of great harm. The bill now heads to the House. And just a reminder for you, everyone, that early voting runs through Saturday for the May 16th party primary. And that is a look for you at today's headlines. I'm Elizabeth Kubel for WBOK. Have a great day, everyone.
Real issues, real talk, real solutions. Miss an episode of The Reality Check? You can catch every episode anytime. Search WBOK Media on your favorite podcast app to tap the bold commentary, real-time reactions, and powerful perspectives from the people and leaders shaping our city. Download, share, and rate it 5 stars because the real ones always stay informed.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans. Welcome back to the morning show. It is 7:18, and that means if you got somewhere to be at 7:15, you're about 3 minutes late. But slow down. Make sure you can get there. You can make up your story about the puppies having goldfish, or the fish having puppies, or cats, or never seen anything like this before. You had to deal with it. It's okay. So whatever your story is, but be safe. And remember, the school kids are on their way to school or at school. Make sure that they get to where they are going, and that school zone speed limit is 20 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. That's in effect until 9 a.m. So do your best to make sure that our kiddos get where they need to go. So in just a short few minutes, we believe we'll have Congressman Cleo Fields and Congressman Troy Carter on the line to talk about the latest in the Calais case. And, of course, kicking off tomorrow with the state legislators looking at redistricting the state of Louisiana and what that might mean for our representation with the 2nd District, the 6th District, and statewide. Because as I was telling someone yesterday, we may live in one district or another, but Louisiana counts on Cleo Fields outside of that district, and Louisiana counts on Troy Carter outside of his district to represent a lot of people. Yes, especially us, black folks, but definitely a number of other folks who have views and ideas and desires similar to them. So it's really important that we have this conversation in just a couple of few minutes, and we'll be on with that. So make sure you let folks know that there is an important conversation that is about to take place on WBOK, 12:30 a.m., or they can find it on WBOK's YouTube channel. They can find it on WBOK's Facebook channel with Facebook page with Facebook Live as well. So those are some spots where they can get it, and they're continuing developments daily and sometimes multiple times a day on this issue. So the Legal Defense Fund, for instance, filed a motion to recall the judgment in Louisiana versus Calais. So that decision came out last week. That request to recall the judgment that the Supreme Court issued, that all of us have heard, is consistent with the Supreme Court's guidelines for Supreme Court decisions. That includes that there is a 32-day waiting period when a Supreme Court decision about whatever, not just Calais, about whatever, is issued. It is not official and certified until days later, even though it's been announced. And in that 32-day waiting period, the losing party can review the decision and all of its parts if there are dissents and so forth, and decide if they want to let it go or do something like ask for a rehearing. Well, as a part of that standing process, the Legal Defense Fund looked at that decision and filed a motion to recall that judgment. Yesterday afternoon, after the Good Morning Show was off the air, the Supreme Court of these United States denied that motion. They denied that motion. The Legal Defense Fund made a case following up on not one, but two hearings of the Calais case, that there are issues with the decision. And in this particular case, at this point, the court basically has now prematurely and in contravention of the procedural rules that typically afford litigants 25 days to request a rehearing and then 30 days to complete the process, that was not done. And so we need to be aware that, just because we have a decision and one that is announced, it does not mean that this is over. There are attorneys and others fighting on our behalf, and we need to make sure that we are paying attention. So that's why we're bringing it up here at the Good Morning Show, and we're going to keep bringing it up because this is really, really important and has so much impact on us. So
I think that people throughout the state who lean conservative, they lean right. I think that they should ask themselves why the Supreme Court is pushing this and rushing this the way they are. Why won't they abide by the 32 days? And I think that if you have a majority in Congress, if you have the bully pulpit, the political bully pulpit, why rush anything? Because you theoretically you're going to get what you want anyway. So why do it this way? And that is the thing that I think people need to ask themselves. And again, something that Ashley Shelton brought up on Tuesday is that what people on the right need to realize is that Louisiana is being used as this testing ground for all of this stuff, this battleground for all of this stuff, which means that it's going to impact the rest of the country. But it's not just going to impact the left. It's not just going to impact black folks. It's going to impact everybody. And that impact is going to get really, really ugly. It's already gotten ugly. I mean, we already have people who are white, conservative, middle class closing businesses down. We have that already. And that came again. I go back to Ashley and her commentary about abuse of power. That comes from this abuse of power. We're seeing it with the Supreme Court. Just this ridiculous, flat out abuse of power. And I think it's something that tells me people are getting it, but they're not speaking up as loudly as they could. But I think that they're trying to hold out to, I think they want to hold out to see just how badly black folks are going to get screwed and how badly people on the left are going to get screwed over this. But, I mean, this is not going to help anybody. By the way, something that I wanted to point out with our Facebook community, Mel Moss, she pointed out that gas in California is over $6.50 a gallon right now. And so that ain't good.
I was in California in early April.
That's right.
I rented a car, had to fill it, a couple of times while out there for 7 to 10 days. $6.69.
Wow.
That was then.
Yeah.
So
that was what, 3 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
And we went down. So here's the thing that's really messed up. That tells you just how volatile and messed up things are. Just looking at gas as an example, it actually went down a few cents for about a week, I think, and then it jumped again. And when I say it went down a few cents, I mean what? I mean, I think it went down maybe about 10 cents or something like that at some point. And I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe we have a bit of a sigh of relief, maybe something, I don't know. I'm not an economist, so I don't know how the dollar behaves in these situations, but we went down a couple of cents, or maybe about 10 cents, and then it jumped about 20 cents. So that just speaks to the volatility of the situation. And that makes this, that really makes this extraordinarily frustrating. As a matter of fact, there's an article that I just ran across NOLA.com, and this was actually posted about 3 hours ago by Joni Hess. Taxi drivers navigating higher fuel costs.
Oh yeah.
Turn to New Orleans City Council for help. So imagine turning to New Orleans City Council, and the city is having financial problems of its own. So now here we go. This is really not good. This is really not good right now. But the article says that taxi drivers, of course, are feeling the brunt of higher fuel prices. But there's a part that says in the article, but a city rule bars cab drivers from raising their fares in response. That rule says drivers must seek city council approval before making any changes. And so that's why the cab drivers, the taxi drivers are saying, well, okay, if we can't raise our prices, then now what do we do? We need some help on this thing. And so that is an indication. For those of you who did not realize that taxi drivers are still a thing, this is what they're dealing with. And that is a big indication of what we're dealing with across the country. So, there we have it. There we have it. It is it's a situation right now. It is quite the situation.
Well, going in and out of town a couple of times in the last few weeks, I took ride shares as a part of getting to and from the airport rather than park my car and pay for parking for, the good need to handle it that way. But the drivers told me that they're not being compensated.
Oh wow!
Based on the gas prices changing, and what they've seen is that the ride costs are changing, but not their compensation because they're spending more for their gas. and because they're driving so much, they're spending more multiple times, in a day or a couple of 3 days.
So now they're starting
so
to pay to do the job.
They it depends how much they drive, that kind of thing. So we'll see where we're going to go from there. So we're standing by to get Congressman Carter and Congressman Cleo Fields on the line. We are working on technology and coordination here. We're not going to have much time at this point, but we're going to do our best to get this going. All right?
We are efforting,
So,
as some folks say, we're efforting.
Okay. All right. So we are ready to go. Good morning, Congressman Troy Carter. You're on with Will Sutton and Eddie Francis. Good morning, Cleo Field.
Oh,
Good morning.
All
Good
right,
morning, Cleo Fields. They're both ready, but again, we're trying to get these coordinated. So they're both ready to go. Good morning, Congressman Carter. You're on Will Sutton and Eddie Francis. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Good morning. How are you guys?
Fabulous.
Doing well.
Fabulous. We are looking to make the connection with Congressman Cleo Fields in a moment. I know both of you guys been extremely busy with the normal work, but we'll see if the congressman is going to be able to join us. But meanwhile, let's jump right to the Calais case and talk about where we are. I just mentioned on the air that the Supreme Court denied a legal defense fund motion to move this thing forward with recalling the judgment and having an opportunity for another hearing, another go at this, since they jumped out there and announced it, which is not unusual, but it hadn't been officially certified and issued. And, of course, there's a 25-day waiting period and a 32-day period as well. What are they saying to us that they're going against their normal procedure?
That we don't matter. What they're saying is we don't matter. The reality is when you bend and twist the rule to advance a ruling and you push it even beyond your own bounds, that's a lot of effort to strip away people's rights. That's a lot of efforts and a lot of coordination. This is not done in a vacuum. And I'll also remind you the timing. Virginia won its mapping case. 2 days later, the Supreme Court comes out with its stripping of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Not just a weird coincidence, man. Donald Trump got on the phone and he put pressure on those Supreme Court justices. Remember, this ruling was not scheduled, didn't appear by all intent that it was going to come out until June or July. This is all very planned. Brothers and sisters, we've got to wake up. There is an all-out attack. This is not conspiracy-driven. This is real. You've got to look at what's happening. You've got to look at the systematic stripping of our rights. You've got to look at what's happening. Remember, when the president at the State of the Union, he ridiculed the justices. He called them weak because they didn't support him. He said they should do what he asked them to do or what he tells them to do. He walked past two of them and didn't even speak to them. They were standing there. He walked by like they weren't there, shook the next person's hand. And then, like children wanting to please their parent, they gave him his way. This is not just a coincidence. This is an attempt to take us back And could it happen? Damn right it could, if we let it. Who would have ever thought that Calvin Duncan, who was duly elected, could just have his seat taken away from him? No, you can't do that. It's unconstitutional. No way. They did it. So we don't have the luxury of saying what they can't do because the rules say you can't. They've demonstrated that they'll break the rules. They'll demonstrate they don't care about the rules. They've demonstrated they don't care about us. So we have to take this moment, brothers and sisters, and band together like never before. Go out. Get people registered to vote. Here's the action item. Get people registered to vote. Send a message to them no matter what you do, we are going to still win because when we vote, we win. Louisiana is red only because we don't vote. We should take this moment and paint our state blue with people registering to vote. Remember 1991 when David Duke was on the ballot? Mm-hmm. People came out and voted. There were lines in City Hall for people to register to vote. Let's do it again. But let's do it on steroids. Let's do it way bigger. Here we are. Today is Thursday. Early voting is still light. Man, people should be going out voting like crazy.
It is. It is indeed. Congressman, happy to say that the Congressman Fields is available and on the line. Good morning, Congressman Fields.
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Fabulous. You're on Will Sutton and Eddie Francis. And, of course, Congressman Carter is on the line. I know you have limited time.
Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
All right. So
doing well, brother.
Is on as well, right?
Say that again.
Eddie is on as well.
Yeah,
right?
Eddie's here.
Yes, sir.
Yep, absolutely.
Big Eddie, how you doing, Mr. Eddie?
I'm doing good.
Okay. So, Congressman, we've got a state legislature that is going to work on this redistricting bill starting tomorrow morning. And with the Supreme Court ruling, people are saying that the current map is unconstitutional. And whatever is done can't take race into consideration. But how do we maintain what we have with a 6th district with Cleo Fields or someone who is like Cleo Fields in a number of ways, with the 2nd district as it is with Troy Carter or someone like Troy Carter for now and the future? I understand that people are talking about 5-1 or 6-0. How come we can't have 2 and have that be a political consideration?
Well, first of all, let me just say that the opinion itself is totally asinine. How in the world you don't take race into consideration when you draw congressional maps or when you draw legislative maps? When you draw school board seats, race is always a part of the equation, and it should always be a part of the equation. But what they want to do is, if you draw a majority white district, then you didn't do that based on race. That was just the good old way of doing it. But if you draw a majority minority district, all race was the predominant factor. Look, that opinion is absolutely hogwash. And I tell people, look, you got to go to the polls. You got to vote anyway, because this is not our first rodeo. We were, Plessy v. Ferguson. This same Supreme Court basically said that separation was legal, and then we had to overturn it. So we just got to keep fighting. Now, in terms of what the legislature is going to do, and I certainly encourage every single person who's listening to our voices to go to the Capitol show up at the Capitol on Friday at 9:00. Be there early and let your voice be heard and your face be seen in that Capitol. First of all, the governor started made this thing. It was already confusing with the closed primary. He added chaos to confusion. He and the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, when they decided to stay the election in the first place. But, it is what it is, Eddie, and And Will, Will, you know best. Where there's a will, there's a way. And we gonna figure out a way. Now, in terms of let me tell you what the Supreme Court did not say. It did not say that the 2nd Congressional District of New Orleans is unconstitutional, illegal, or racial gerrymander.
It did not.
The legislature should start with the premise of leave that district alone. Don't bring that district to Baton Rouge. Why would they do that? Because they want to pack voters, all black voters, into one single district. So I think our premise should be don't touch what the Supreme Court did not give any remarks to, and that's Representative Carter's district. Leave it alone.
Carter.
Second thing is there's a.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, there's a plan in the legislature right now. Senator Ed Price. He has the same plan we had years ago that they always killed. That plan basically creates a second majority black seat. Now, will they pass it? Probably not, but it certainly can be passed. But the legislature has to have the will to do that.
Congressman Carter, do you agree?
Listen, I've said all along, and the good congressman is correct. We don't have to settle for one. We can have two. Ed Price has a map. Let me tell you, there was a concerted effort. The map that LDF drew is the one that Ed Price, that Representative Fields is talking about right now. That map would have created 2 seats in Louisiana that would have met muster. But they chose not to go with that map, and they went with the map they drew. Now, go back and listen to the tapes. Race was repeated over and over again throughout the testimony. Not from us, but by the other side. Which makes you wonder, did you draw that map knowing that it might be challenged and not pass the one that Ed Price had that would have legitimately given us 2 seats? So we are now going to go back on Monday, or Friday rather, and advance and ask them to pass this. And Representative Fields is absolutely right. You don't have to do any magic to create a second seat. All you have to do is use the fundamental principles of reapportionment.
Mm-hmm.
These maps are contiguous. These maps fit. They pass all the muster of all the standards, and they're not racially motivated. It's purely on demographics.
Congressman Carter, really quickly, what are you hearing from the Senate President and the House Speaker about the map that the legislature is looking to pass?
Not a whole lot. I mean, they're being relatively tight-lipped. I mean, they're saying that, I guess we're hearing the same thing that most other people are hearing, is that there's a move afoot to have 2 different maps drawn, one that would have a 5-1, and one that would have a 6-0. A 6-0, of course, would wipe out both African-American seats, and a 5-1 would leave one standing with no indication of where or how that looks. We understand is that they're going to have hearings on Friday, for which we're encouraging as many people as possible to join us. Come to Baton Rouge. Let your voices be heard. We want to be orderly. We want to be smart. We want to be put our best foot forward to not let them drag us into a fight, but to be very smart in our deliveries and organized. But the reality is we don't have a clue what's going to happen. And we can guess if we may, but I suspect there's maps that may have been drawn that we haven't seen yet, or that we'll amend it. I'm just hopeful that the legislature will hear and do the right thing. And if enough of us show up to talk about it, enough of us show up to present logical cases to demonstrate there are arguments that can support a second map, even if we don't use Section 2, even if we don't use the Voting Rights Act. Let's just look at compactness. let's look at contiguous lines. There are other principles that can be applied in this case. We'll have to see what happens. But one thing is for certain. We aren't going to quit. We aren't going to run. We aren't going to beg. We're going to show up, and we're going to present our case.
Okay, Congressman Fields, are you hearing anything from the Senate and House leadership about this?
Well, basically the same thing that Representative Carter has said. There is some talk about, and look, I get upset when people talk about a 6-0 map. You know, you draw a 6-0 map and see what that gets you. You know, you want to be punitive, do that, and then we'll turn half of this delegation into make them all, half of them Democratic. I mean, you know, all that foolishness. You know, there 30% of the people in this state are black. You know, and they deserve representation. States like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, the truth of the matter, you know, there's block voting that take place here. And some people haven't overcome, you know, the issues of Jim Crow, you know, to say it kindly. And as a result of that, you know, you've not, and look, Troy and I both know there are a lot of African-American members of Congress that are elected from non-majority black seats.
Right.
But they're not in the southern part of our country.
Right.
You know, and we applaud those states that actually embrace diversity and inclusion. That's a good thing. But Louisiana, we've never elected an African-American to Congress from a majority white district, period. You know, yours truly was one of them, you know. It just does not and haven't. Let me not say it will not, but it has not happened in the past, and that's why we passed the Voting Rights Act. But don't threaten us with a 6-0. Come on, let's be practical. There won't be a 6-0 map.
Okay.
There could very well be, and Representative Carter is right. There could be a map that's passed that comply with all redistricting principles, and just like the map that they just ruled unconstitutional, quite frankly. They just changed the rules in the middle of the game. Because when that map was being presented, we made it very clear, why are you doing this? Are you doing this for racial reasons? No, sir, I'm not doing it for racial reasons. I'm doing it to protect my Congresswoman, Julia Letlow, who is the only female Congress person from Louisiana. You know, I'm protecting the Speaker of the House. I'm protecting, you know,
Steve
the
Scalise.
Majority Leader. You know, over and over again. There are folk in this country who do not feel comfortable with people of color serving in the highest offices of this land, and we just need to be, you know, cognizant of that. But
Okay.
we can't stop, and we can't stop voting. We can't stop participating, and show up at that Capitol on tomorrow.
Okay.
And show up in great numbers.
All right, Congressman Fields, I know you're going to have to go in, and we're going to, Congressman Carter, we want you to hold on to get to some other things if you can. Question for each of you. Question for each of you. Congressman Carter, can you accept a Baton Rouge-based majority-minority district? And Congressman Fields, can you accept a New Orleans-based one majority-minority district? And
It will.
Yes.
Let me cut you off. We're not going to let you do that, brother, because
Okay.
that's what everybody wants to do. They're trying to pit us against each other. Here's where we are. We're going to fight for 2 seats, and then we're going to go from there.
Right.
We're not going to let, with all due respect, brother, everyone's trying to create this us against them scenario.
Right.
We're lockstep together. We're going to go down this road. We're going to fight for 2 seats, and then we'll figure out the rest after.
Okay. Congressman Fields?
Yeah, you know, I agree with Troy. I mean, I think that goes back to packing, to be honest with you. Why put 2 of the heaviest African-American populations in the same district? I've always been against that, quite frankly. I think that's a packing. I mean, I just think that's putting all black voters in one place so that you would have the luxury of creating other districts that are much more whiter. You know, I don't know what the legislature is going to do, but I do know one thing. if that happens, I have no desire of running for Congress against another African American congressman. I just don't. I mean, I don't feel good about that. So there are ways to do it. If the legislature wants to do the right thing, they can. They have the opportunity, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I certainly hope
Thanks, guys.
that hearts and minds are changed in a way that we have two majority, minority, or opportunity districts, and if they're not looking exactly as they are, that we have Congressman Fields in one district and Congressman Troy Carter in the other. How's that sound to you guys?
Thanks a lot. All right, take care.
Thanks, brother. That's the way it should be.
All right. So long, Congressman Fields.
I'll take care. Bye.
Congressman Carter, hang on. All right. Any closing thoughts on that before we move to some of your other business that you've been taking care of?
Yeah, no, listen, I applaud you, and I thank you for getting us both together so we can send a message that's so critically important. And listen, there are those sitting around the fire camp hoping that they can see a shootout. You know, they want to see black-on-black crime. They want to see us fight each other. And we have to stop. You know, I've said this so many times on this show. We have to end the circular firing squad. We are not the enemy. We are not the enemy. We are not the ones trying to rip your health care away. We're not the ones trying to take away your voting rights. We're not the one who's trying to go back to a Jim Crow redo. We gotta be strong.
Yeah.
And we have to fight against and resist the temptation to be petty. Now is not the time.
Well,
so thank you. Thank you both for giving us this opportunity. So we can pivot on now and talk about some of the other stuff.
Absolutely.
Of
Please,
course, I am happy that we had a chance to dedicate this time to these issues, which are so critically important, that they hear solidly from the two of us that there's not going to be a shootout on our watch.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, that's why I asked. So I wanted to make sure, because I having talked with you all somewhat regularly over the last number of days and weeks, I know where you stand. I want other people to know where you stand. And
that's
you're
right.
on together, and it's clear you're in this together. All right, let's move on. You got some other business that you've been taking care of on behalf of the people of the 2nd Congressional District. And let me just say, as I said earlier, your representation in representing the 2nd District is the part that you've been elected to. The part that you did not get elected to is that you are representing black folks across Louisiana and across this nation, and people are looking to you for that leadership. So this decision has more impact than a district. Your leadership is something that black folks are looking at across this nation. So tell us about one of the other things that you've been working on.
Well, let me mention that for a second. As the first vice chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, and the good Lord says the same, I'll be chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus next Congress. Chairman of the Congressional Black Caucus will give us a leadership post and a landing spot to talk about issues of importance all over the country for our communities. That leadership means something to Louisiana. That leadership means something to our country. When we talk about the natural next step of how do we overcome what happens with the evisceration of the Voting Rights Act, remember, we can change the law. But we have to regain power of the House and the Senate. Because when we do, when people ask, well, what are you going to do about it? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pass the John Robert Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. That will respond to the Supreme Court's decision to eviscerate Section 2. So when we're able to restore those voting right protections by passing the John Robert Lewis Voting Rights Act, guess what? That ruling doesn't matter anymore, because what we will fix will any parts that they deem to be unconstitutional. But then here's the next beauty of it. We don't have to have this thing renewed over and over and over again because we press it into law. But that can only happen when we control the House, Senate, and White House again. And it's within our power to do it. Why else would this president and his minions work so hard to deny your vote if your vote didn't matter?
Right. Absolutely.
How's it possible?
Yeah.
Because they know they want to try to pass the SAVE Act to make it harder for you to vote. They want to do everything they can to discourage you to vote. And you're sitting at home saying, well, my vote doesn't matter. Well, man, if your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't try so hard to take it away from you. You have the power in your hand. And I know we've been voting for a long time and things haven't changed. I know we've been voting. We don't always get our way. I know we voted, we had a black president. Things still didn't get 100% better. I know we voted, we still didn't. But guess what? The alternative is worse, brothers and sisters. It may not happen overnight, but we got to vote. You got to keep voting, and you got to keep voting. It's like prayer. You have to pray and wait. God doesn't always answer your prayer immediately, but unceasing prayer unlocks doors. Praying unceasingly unlocks doors. And to liken that, voting unlocks doors.
Okay, we got time for a caller. Good morning, Reverend Calhoun. You're on with Will Sutton, Eddie Francis, and of course, Congressman Troy Carter.
Good morning, gentlemen. My question
Good morning, Rev.
Number one, simple. Is there any transportation that you guys are aware of that will be leaving, going to Baton Rouge in the morning? And if so, where? The other thing, Troy, is that I'm trying to figure out. They don't want us with any representation, as it seems, all right? Because I guess all the southern states now have went into redistricting. So any voice that comes into our community, or any voice that should come out of our community, I should say, is not happening because of the fact that they're trying to, I guess, do the Donald Trump agenda. But I do want to thank you for standing up, for fighting, and going forward to show that we're not going to take this. We're not going to allow them to just bring in the new crow. Because the new crow says that even if you elect them, we're going to unelect them. But not to give us an opportunity for representation. I don't think folks really understand how critical that is. So I'm just trying to find out, do we have any transportation going to Baton Rouge in the morning? And is it that they don't want us to have any voice in our government, any representation whatsoever? I'll hang up and listen.
Okay.
So the first, I'll answer your last question first. Yes, they do not want you to have any representation. That is clear. It is clear that they do not want you, me, or anyone that looks like us to have representation. Hence the call from the president when he first called the governor of Texas and said, I need to just get 5 more votes. That started this avalanche of mid-term reapportionment. Reapportionment historically happens every 10 years. We're well outside of that, but inside of that rather. But they decided they wanted to do it earlier because they wanted to manipulate the scales, because they don't want to play fair, because they don't want to use the rules. So they bend them, they twist them, they turn them upside down to get their way. And so at the end of the day, they don't want people like me at the table because I challenge them too much. They don't want a person like me at the table because I stand up to them too much. And in their terms, I would be called an uppity blankety blank because I don't cower to them. I don't bow to them. I don't run and say, Mr. Charlie. I address them like they address me. I'm a man, and you're going to talk to black folk that way. You're going to treat us that way. So at the end of the day, we are going to go. I think there are transportation modes.
Yeah, and
Rev, I'm going to have someone in my office to call you with details.
And I can provide some of that after we give you the time to finish.
Oh, great.
And after the 8 a.m.-ish break, I have some information about that so that you can use the time to wrap up your comments and be on time for your next events.
Thank you guys so very much. As always, I greatly appreciate the dialogue, the opportunity. Eddie and Will, you guys are fantastic. God bless WBOK.
All right. Lord's blessings, Congressman. Keep the fight. continue with the struggle, and disappointments and frustrations can turn to overwhelming abundance. So we know that, and we're going to trust in that and have faith and hope. This is WBOK, and there is a talk line number. That was a lot, but what an opportunity to hear from Congressman Cleo Fields and Congressman Troy Carter. Nowhere else have you heard our two Democratic representatives in the U.S. House of Representatives. Nowhere else have you heard from the two black congressmen representing districts in Louisiana. Nowhere else have you heard from the two black congressmen who have tremendous respect outside of their districts and across this state and across this nation. So you heard it here, right here on WBOK. If somebody missed it, you can run it back on WBOK's YouTube channel, or you can run it back on WBOK's Facebook Live after the show is posted when we're done. So what's that call back? And I'm going to answer your question, Reverend Calhoun, after the break. I have some information for you, and the congressman's already promised that somebody will call you directly. But I want to provide information for all of our WBOK family of listeners.
It is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422.
All right, this is WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Life has a way of shifting priorities, changing needs, and pivoting plans. Home Bank is there for all of them. Their bankers partner with you for every step along the way, from understanding your needs to celebrating your success. Home Bank is invested in the vibrant spirit of our community and in you. So partner with them. Stop on by any banking center in the greater New Orleans area or visit home24bank.com to get started today. Good for business, good for life. Home Bank, a member of the FDIC.
City Park is where to go when you don't know where to go. Turn towards the city center and start walking. Before long, you'll end up where you belong, at the heart of the city, New Orleans City Park. Stroll along the reeded marsh, wander through the sculpture garden, rest and recharge beneath ancient oak trees. This is where your spirit goes to grow. It's in our nature to yearn for nature. NewOrleansCityPark.org, heart of the city.
Our power bill's up again.
Oh, feels like everything costs more these days.
I saw Mark Wright and John Young are running for the Public Service Commission. Could they help?
The PSC controls our electric bills. Definitely not.
Why not?
Well, Mark Wright wrote the law raising Louisiana's sales tax to the highest in America. Then Wright took thousands from utility companies he'd regulate. Even tried letting politicians use campaign cash on fancy perks. And the other guy, John Young, backed a $22 million property tax plan.
So both have a record of making folks pay more, and now Wright and Young want to take control of our power bill.
Unfortunately.
Sounds like Mark Wright and John Young are wrong for the PSC.
Very wrong.
Paid for by Fair Rates First, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FairRatesFirst.com.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
The Ron Kelly Show. Real talk, bold truth. Tune in for your weekly dose of unapologetic conversations that don't dodge the truth or dilute the message. Stay informed on the issues that matter most on The Ron Kelly Show, every Monday at 7 p.m. on WBOK 1230 AM. We proudly present a moment in reflection of Dr. Norman C. Francis.
This is Ro Brown. Dr. Francis, or Doc as I always called him, to me was the epitome of somebody who had a goal, knew what he wanted to do, and got it done. I remember sitting in his office about 30 or 35 years ago talking, and he told me, Roy, I want to buy everything from here all the way to Jeff Davis Parkway. And so now here we are 35 years later, sitting in a building that Xavier didn't own at the time, a huge 6-story building. It belongs to Xavier. But not only that, he built a dormitory on one side of it, he built an intramural gym on the other side, and another dormitory beyond that didn't exist when we had that conversation. And another huge building behind us under construction. And on top of that, those buildings are sitting on a street that's no longer Jeff Davis Parkway. It's Norman C. Francis Parkway. To me, that made Norman Francis a bad man.
This moment in reflection of Dr. Norman C. Francis has been proudly presented to you by your friends at WBOK.
This is The Law and Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and do not have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you do not pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call. If you've been injured in an auto accident, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation.
Call 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524. 800-269-4524.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. A Black Michigan community leader is now facing criminal charges after an auto theft investigation. Mark Watts, president of the Lathrop Village Chamber of Commerce, is accused of possessing retagged stolen vehicles. His friends were stunned.
Like I say, this is a good community. He's a good guy.
He's pleaded not guilty and was released on bond and is due back in court May 18th. The Justice Department is seeking personal information on Georgia election workers from the 2020 election. The Trump administration subpoenaed officials in Fulton County, prompting concerns over intimidation and voter suppression. County leaders are asking a judge to block the request. And Black lawmakers in Mississippi are warning that redistricting plans could weaken the voting power of Black communities. The move follows a Supreme Court ruling that struck down a Louisiana map, prompting Mississippi's governor to call a special session. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It is 8:09 a.m., so less than an hour to go with the schools having a school zone speed limit of 20 miles per hour. Make sure that you take your time. You got somewhere to be at 8:15. Make sure you take your time, and you got a few minutes to get there. You're in better shape if you need to be there at 8:30. But please, please, please make sure the assistant principals on transportation duty and the bus drivers on their duty have the opportunity to do what they do day in and day out on school days, protecting the kids, but they can't control your car. So please, not just stay out of the way, stay slow, keep your eyes open, stay alert, because some of our kiddos have hair in their face and hair in their arms, and they're looking at their phones and not paying attention. Okay, so let's do that. Hey, look, we had a call with Congressman Cleo Fields and Congressman Troy Carter. Good conversation, a lot of emotion about this, and that's to be expected. There was a call about the what's happening tomorrow in Baton Rouge, and there are a number of things happening in Baton Rouge. There's a 8 a.m. gathering and a training. There's a 9 a.m. hearing, Senate and Governmental Affairs Committee. Their question was about transportation. Some people are driving on their own. Some people are carpooling. Some people are even doing like a little line of cars. So they got neighbors and friends, 5 or 6 cars going to go up. But a question was about other transportation. So that is happening. And we have on the line with us now Ashley Shelton, head of Power Coalition for Equity and Justice, and sometimes helping with hosting of the Good Morning Show on WBOK. You're on with Will Sutton and Eddie Francis.
Long time no speak,
Good
Ashley.
Good morning. I know. I miss you guys. You guys, but I'm glad to be back to talk about this really important issue.
And we want, as much as we enjoy having you here, and we want you to come back when you can. We want you to do this work because this is way
it's urgent. It's urgent.
Important. Yes, it is. All right. So tell us a little bit about what's happening tomorrow that people should know, whether they go or not, because some people can look at some things online. And the transportation people, because Power Coalition is providing some transportation to help folks who want to go to get there.
Yes, and so Power Coalition is going to have 2 buses leaving from our office at 4930 Washington Avenue. And we are inviting folks to come down. We want to really show up and make sure that these legislators know that we're not going to sit back and let them take our voting rights. And so, again, that address is 4930. And the buses will be leaving at 6:30 so that they can be there in time for the 8 o'clock training that Power Coalition is putting on along with ACLU, Legal Defense Fund, and others to prepare folks to with their comments. What are the rules of the committee rooms, et cetera, et cetera. And again, that is the bus is going to leave 4930 Washington Avenue at 6:30 to get folks to the Capitol for 8 o'clock, and then certainly walk over from the Louisiana State Capitol Museum, which is right across the street from the Capitol, and we're going to walk over for the Senate and Governmental Affairs meeting that starts at 9.
Okay, and so if people want to go to support, demonstrate, talk, be a part of the crowd, they want to talk, is that a possibility? And is it possible that somebody can go to the 8 o'clock and leave at 9 or so to get to other things if they're local or if they're not?
So yes, we want 1,000 red cards for these terrible maps that they're proposing. We've heard that there may be a 5-1 map or even a 6-0 map, and so yes, you can fill out a red card and ask to speak. You can fill out a red card, provide information, and you can fill out a red card and say you don't want to speak. But we want them to see folks from all of their districts have turned out, and that we will remember in 2027 all that was done and who was leading it. And so yes, you can go to the committee room. You can go to the training, but and leave. But we really want folks to show up at the Capitol for the 9 o'clock, so that again we have an immense presence that can't be denied. That's what I love about Louisiana folks. We show up, and we've been showing up, and we want to fill as many committee rooms and hallways as possible. And so please join us. And we don't have a ton of parking at our office, and so kind of similar, right? Like, so if you want to take the bus, please carpool if you can. But there certainly is parking in the front and the back, and we'll have folks that can direct folks about parking in the front or the back of the building. And so just, again, trying to accommodate everybody and asking everybody to join us. We also have a bus leaving from Shreveport that'll be stopping in Monroe and Alexandria. And so if you have family and friends in other parts of the state that want to participate, definitely join us. And so we have a link. So you can sign up to just participate, right, and be able to get information in real time. It'll, kind of text you like the bus is leaving, the training is starting, we're walking over to the Capitol, and so someone on my team is going to drop that link on the Facebook, and I'll also text it to you, Will, so that you can put it all the places it needs to be.
All right, yeah, and we do have listeners in Shreveport and Monroe and other parishes in the northern part of the state and the central state, and they can't get it on the radio, but they do listen and sometimes watch because it's on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live.
Yes.
Chuck Harden is
and we'll
just
drop it
one
there.
name from Monroe, and I don't know what his work schedule is, but he would definitely be interested in something like this. Chuck sometimes is up early in the morning to listen to this show, but there are others, and so if you know, I know you're so busy, but if you know what time the bus is leaving Shreveport and leaving Monroe, what are those times, or where can people find out?
So you can definitely find out on our website at powercoalition.org. Unfortunately, I focused on New Orleans, but I can definitely make sure that we drop that information on all the social media platforms for WBOK, so that folks can get all of the information that they need. And then I can also find that out, of course, and text that back to you, Will, so you can share with the listeners.
Okay, for our greater Baton Rouge area people who, I have flexibility with my job. I'm retired. I just want to go. I'll figure it out. But they don't want to take public transportation. They want to drive their car. Of course, at the state capitol, you know what parking can be like
yes.
over there, and especially if you're one person in one car as opposed to 2, 3, or 4. It can be a problem. You might have to park some distance. But for those folks who might hear this segment of the program, based on your experience of regularly going on legislation session days, what's the best idea for parking?
When I find out the answer, you will be the first to know, Will. So there is there is an old abandoned insurance building parking lot that that they allow folks that don't have a tag to park in sometimes. And so if you go at the top level, not the underground level, usually, with a smile and a nod, they'll let you park there.
Okay.
That's been my trick.
Okay. But the official government parking lot is over close to the river, correct?
Yes. And there are several parking garages, too. I think the Galvez is probably the closest to the Capitol. And so you certainly, can engage, you can park in any of those parking garages as well. And like I said, it's maybe like a three block walk to the Capitol.
That's where I was going because, I know how some of my people are. It's like, I don't want public transportation and I don't want to ride with anybody. I'm going to drive my own car. I'm in charge of my transportation and my time. And that's how I'm going to handle it. But where can I park? I just want to understand you're not talking about a half a block walk. If you're going
it's a couple of blocks. It's a couple of blocks for sure. And
occasionally 3 to 5, kind of depending on when you get there, if you can get a spot or find the places, that particular place that Ashley's talking about. But it might be 3 or 5 blocks, so you need to take that into consideration as well.
Absolutely. And I want to, and everybody's talking about the rain and the weather. The rain doesn't start until 10 a.m. So we should be safe and happy. When we won't be happy, but we'll be safe in the Capitol, fighting for our rights and our voice, our vote and our voice.
Okay. Very good. All right. Thank you so much, Ashley Shelton. Thanks for the update about what's happening tomorrow and in particular the transportation. Hope that those buses are full, and we hope that there will be 1,000 or more folks out there and not just out there, but with the red cards. And correct me if I'm wrong,
Absolutely.
because you're there more often than I am. We can have these committee meetings in the legislature, and there's no red cards. And people are opposed to it. But there can be no red cards or have something that's of major importance. And there's a tension. You might have 10. There can be something like the clerk merger bill, which I think had more than 100. But that's
for the state Voting Rights Act bill, that Senate Bill 365 that Senator Royce DePlessis brought. We had over 350 green cards because we wanted to be clear about the support for the bill.
Mm-hmm.
We were not only did we pack that committee room, we packed 3 other committee rooms and a hallway. So
all right.
People care about their rights and they care about having their voices heard. And so we're gonna show up because we see what's happening in Alabama and Tennessee. And we have to, we got to fight. We got to fight. And unlike what our Supreme Court justices believe, the South has indeed not changed. We still require racial remedies. And, again, within an hour of their decision, the South did exactly what we knew it would, which was to call special sessions to remove, representation and voice for Black and other Black communities and voters and other minorities.
All right. Well, we know you got lots of work to do. This is a big thing for tomorrow, but there are other things that are your Power Coalition
Saturday there are a couple of
involved.
gatherings, and so we will definitely drop all of that on the social media for WBOK so that we can share it with listeners.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ashley Shelton. Appreciate your time. We're just wrapping up a conversation with Ashley Shelton from the Power Coalition about what's happening tomorrow and a bit about Saturday. Big doings in Baton Rouge tomorrow. If you can make it, make time to go. And go to Power Coalition's website if you need more information about transportation or just what's happening up there. All right. Lord's blessings. Have a great day, sister.
Yes. Have a great day. Thanks for having me.
All right. So long.
Bye-bye.
All right. Eddie Francis, good information.
Mm-hmm.
WBOK following up on Reverend Calhoun's question about tomorrow. So, Reverend Calhoun, that was quite a bit of info. And you're going to get a personal call from Congressman Troy Carter's office, but not everybody will. So there's some info.
Yep.
We're going to take a break. You got any thoughts on what Ms. Shelton says?
I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but the smile and the nod thing about trying to park in the garage. I mean, she's right about that. I mean, if you're nice to people, they will help you out if you show up in Baton Rouge, and I think that actually could go a long way. Honestly,
Absolutely.
it really
Absolutely.
could.
Yep. Well, you talk on multiple platforms about interpersonal skills and communication.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It is 8:23 a.m., and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, James, hang in there, my brothers. Hang in. We see you. And I'm sure some of you all have some comments, thoughts, and questions about our congressman's comments on the Good Morning Show. Congressman Troy Carter, Congressman Cleo Fields, SCOTUS decision, the Cali decision, the denial of the motion to withdraw the decision, and the looking at redistricting, which starts tomorrow. So that conversation was a good one. You're going to have to look that up if you missed it. There is an opportunity to call in and weigh in. What's that number, Eddie?
504-582-9422, 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about. All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Kubel, and here are today's headlines for you. Chaos on the Causeway as the suspect accused in a multi-parish crime spree jumps into Lake Pontchartrain. Video shows police hoisting up the suspect in a rescue basket after they say that he spent nearly 30 minutes in the lake. Investigators say Kentrell Saunders is accused of driving a stolen white pickup onto the causeway after trying to carjack someone at a store in Mandeville. They say that he ran out of gas and then jumped into the lake. He was taken to the hospital. Investigators say that he is also accused of a home invasion and stabbing a man multiple times in Assumption Parish yesterday. He is expected to face several charges. Louisiana lawmakers are taking new action after that senseless mass shooting at the Mall of Louisiana that left a high school student dead and several others hurt. With no opposition, the Senate added an amendment to House Bill 102, expanding who can be charged with first-degree murder. The definition now includes killings in public spaces where at least 3 people faced a risk of great harm. The bill now heads to the House. And just a reminder for you, everyone, that early voting runs through Saturday for the May 16th party primary. And that is a look for you at today's headlines. I'm Elizabeth Kubel for WBOK. Have a great day, everyone.
Missed a show? Want to hear that guest everyone's talking about? WBOK is now streaming on all your favorite podcast apps. Just search WBOK Media, hit download, share with a friend, and don't forget to rate your favorite shows 5 stars. Because when our voices are heard, our impact grows.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Today's a WDSU First Warning Weather Impact Day. We are talking about the possibility of more heavy rain at times. Now, it's not going to be for the entire day, but we'll see some on and off again scattered chances. Highs for today reaching 81 to 83 degrees. Lows for tonight 60 to 70. For your Friday, 75 to 81. But we're also looking at more chances for rain Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
New Orleans, are you ready for a voice that says what you're thinking? Who that, you might ask? Arrington Gavin. That's right, I'm your guy, host of the Arrington Gavin Show, giving you so much filled with bold opinions, real conversations, and zero sugarcoating. We're going to be diving into the issues that matter: politics, pop culture, and all the above, unfiltered and unafraid. Catch the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Fridays, right here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
Life has a way of shifting priorities, changing needs, and pivoting plans. Home Bank is there for all of them. Their bankers partner with you for every step along the way, from understanding your needs to celebrating your success. Home Bank is invested in the vibrant spirit of our community and in you. So partner with them. Stop on by any banking center in the greater New Orleans area or visit home24bank.com to get started today. Good for business, good for life. Home Bank, a member of the FDIC.
Step back in time and experience the moments that shaped our world at the National World War II Museum, located in the heart of the Warehouse District in New Orleans. This world-renowned museum brings history to life, telling America's story in the war that changed everything, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. From immersive exhibits to powerful personal stories, this is more than a museum. It's an experience. Plan your visit today at nationalww2museum.org. World War II Museum, where history lives.
City Park is where to go when you don't know where to go. Turn towards the city center and start walking. Before long, you'll end up where you belong, at the heart of the city, New Orleans City Park. Stroll along the reeded marsh, wander through the sculpture garden, rest and recharge beneath ancient oak trees. This is where your spirit goes to grow. It's in our nature to yearn for nature. NewOrleansCityPark.org, heart of the city.
Our power bill's up again.
Oh, feels like everything costs more these days.
I saw Mark Wright and John Young are running for the Public Service Commission. Could they help?
The PSC controls our electric bills. Definitely not.
Why not?
Well, Mark Wright wrote the law raising Louisiana's sales tax to the highest in America. Then Wright took thousands from utility companies he'd regulate. Even tried letting politicians use campaign cash on fancy perks. And the other guy, John Young, backed a $22 million property tax plan.
So both have a record of making folks pay more, and now Wright and Young want to take control of our power bill.
Unfortunately,
Sounds like Mark Wright and John Young are wrong for the PSC.
very wrong.
Paid for by Fair Rates First, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FairRatesFirst.com.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and this is Will Sutton. If you got somewhere to be 8:30, if you're there, you're on time. If you were there a few minutes ago, you were early. You're there 15 minutes ago, yeah, that's real good. But now it's 8:31, so if you're still pulling into the parking lot, trying to find a parking spot, getting off that bus, and you got 2 blocks to go, you're late. So you're going to have to figure out something else. But don't keep that angry face on. Smile. Throw your arms up if you're not carrying too much. Thank the Lord for having the day. And if you got a gig, be thankful for your gig. Do your work. Bring home the bacon.
Yes.
And if you're driving, please watch the kiddos and the babies going to school. School zone speed limits are still in effect until 9 a.m. Just about the time we'll be wrapping up and making way for the front porch to come on after the Good Morning Show. Look, we're talking about lots of things, but mostly we're talking about the Voting Rights Act and Section 2. We're talking about the Calais decision. We're talking about what's happening in the state legislature in Baton Rouge tomorrow. Lots of activity there. There is going to be the first of a series of redistricting legislative committee meetings tomorrow. There is a training at 8 a.m. And for those who are in the areas of New Orleans, Shreveport, and Monroe, the Power Coalition has transportation available, so you can check in with them and make sure that you go to the right place at the right time. So, for instance, in New Orleans, it's at the Power Coalition's headquarters office, and the bus is leaving at 6:30. So I suggest not showing up at 6:25 because they might not see you running for the bus. And there is some parking, but if everybody drives a car and only one person in the car, there could be some issues. All right, so take that into account as well. So let's talk about early voting. Voting is underway. Let's remind you once again that the governor canceled a set of elections, those for the U.S. House of Representatives. He did not cancel all of the elections, and a lot of people think everything's off. No, you still have the opportunity as a registered voter to cast ballots in the May 16th election. Early voting now through May 9th. Absentee or mail, you can do that as long as you return the ballot by the day before the election day by 4:30 p.m. and at an official location. So don't pop it in the mail on Friday. Say it was a postmark. Nope, it's not going to work.
Right.
They must receive it. And we got lots of people watching this, and including advocate and activists for the black folks and for right is Gary Chambers, and Eddie's found something that he posted yesterday about some of this.
Yeah, 19 hours ago, Gary Chambers posted this on his Facebook page about what the early voting turnout looks like so far. So across the state, he pulled data down, and across the state, 4.3% have voted across the state. as far as white voters are concerned, 82,751 have voted. However, 1,769,049 remain as far as voters are concerned. Across the state, black voters, 41,410 have voted, but the ones that remain, 884,224. And he did post a breakdown parish by parish. So taking a look at Orleans Parish, the numbers that Gary Chambers posted, noting that these are numbers that he pulled down. He pulled down that so far in Orleans Parish, 7,219 black voters have voted. That means that 134,936 have remained. And so we'll find out from Lisa Manning Bridges about what she has as far as numbers are concerned. And then across Orleans Parish, as far as white voters are concerned, 3,538 have voted. 92,872 remain as far as voters are concerned. So right now, Orleans Parish is voting at 4.3%, according to Gary Chambers' numbers. And again, this is data that he pulled down. And this is from, he says the source for this is the Secretary of State website. This is early voting that he's talking about specifically. So, yeah, the numbers are pretty low. It is definitely not what folks want to see. But that's what he says. That's what he pulled down yesterday. Again, this is a post that he did on Facebook 19 hours ago. And so we'll see what the numbers are looking like going forward.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Eddie. Good report and update. Meanwhile, let's get the official word from the Orleans Parish Registrar, Lisa Manning Bridges. We have her on the line. Good morning, Madam Registrar. You're on with Will Sutton and Eddie Francis. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Good morning, gentlemen. I'm doing well.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us once again. Let's get right to it. What have you seen with Orleans Parish and early voting at this point?
Early voting started out Saturday really robust. Monday was a little lax, and Tuesday and Wednesday picked up. So I'm hoping that trend keeps going in that direction. With early voting, we had 10,271 in person early voters. And then with mail-in ballots, we mailed out 11,888. And as of this morning, we received 3,266. So there's still a lot of ballots out there that needs to come in. Hopefully they'll send them in. They have until May 15th at 4:30 to get them to us. Don't wait. Send them in early so they doesn't get caught up in the mail. But that's the numbers so far.
Okay, so a really strong first day.
Yes.
And then a dip, but steady.
A dip, yes, but steady. And it seems to be picking up. As of yesterday, it was picking up. So I'm thinking hopefully it's going to stay and continue to pick up. And we're ready and fully staffed and waiting. Like I said, keep us working, keep us to work, put us to work.
Okay. All right. So are you hearing from your folks much voter confusion, or people seem to be straight if they're showing up at the polls, especially with the closed primary situation, and then recent anger because of the Supreme Court Calais decision? I know those aren't things that are showing up at the polls or on the ballot, but are you hearing much voter confusion?
Yes. So to both. There's voter confusion with the closed party primaries, especially with no party voters. They are kind of unsure of how the process works, so we have extra visual aids up to help them make that decision. We're taking our time to explain. It's not changing your party affiliation. You're selecting a ballot choice. So if you want to vote for someone who is on the Republican side, then that's the ballot choice you're going to select. If you want to vote for someone on the Democratic side, that's the ballot choice. So we're having confusion there. We're having people who are upset about the Calais decision and upset regarding the Mr. Duncan decision. So those are things I'm hearing when they come in to vote. I'm out there on the floor. I'm helping, check people in and all that. So I hear these things, and, I just have to listen with a sympathetic ear and just try to help them make the best decision that they can make as it relates to the no-party voters especially. We have sample ballots on the walls at all locations, as well as a guide to help them select on the desk when they check in at each location.
Okay, if you can share any of those visuals, I'd love to make sure that our WBOK family of listeners is able to see that online and on social if the team has the bandwidth to do that. And then I would love the opportunity to have that handy so I can share that well. As you know, I care deeply about voter registration and voting and early voting and absentee ballots and voter rights and participation because it's so important to our democracy and our republic. But if we don't participate, we're letting others make decisions for us.
Correct, yes. Okay.
So
yes, I will share that with you.
So Lisa, really quickly, what are the types of assistance can folks look forward to if they have any questions? I know you said that there are visual aids, but what types of questions can folks answer when people show up to the polls?
The major question we've been answering is, if I select someone from this party, will that change my party affiliation?
Oh, so that's a big concern for people.
That's a big concern.
Oh, okay.
And so we let them know it does not change your party affiliation. You're selecting that party's ballot to vote on. So the visual aid that we have, it has the list of names that who's on the Democratic side, who's on the Republican side, and do you see the person you want to vote for particularly? Then if you see that person, that's the ballot style you're going to select, the choice you're going to make. And when they do their declaration, then they choose that. And it helps from having voters go into the booth. They make a selection, they go into the booth, and then they don't see the person. Then they come back out and say, well, I didn't see my person. I need to make another choice. So we're trying to cut down on that so that they know beforehand who they're voting for and which ballot choice they're going to make. We also ask them to visit the Secretary of State's website, the Go Vote app, so that they can also study their ballot and know what their options are. And this is especially for no-party voters because they do have that choice of which style, and to let them know whoever you choose for the May 16th election, that's the same ballot choice you're going to receive for the June 27th election.
All right. So if I'll just use an example of a no-party voter because it's closed primaries, they can vote in the Republican primary or in the Democratic primary, correct?
Correct, but not both.
Right. And then whichever primary they vote in, when there's a June election, they need to stick with that party election.
Correct. They will stick with that party's election. In November, it will be open.
Right.
So then they can do whatever in November. But May and June are both closed.
Okay. So registered Democrats can vote for the Democratic primary. Registered Republicans can vote for the Republican primary. No party voters, no more independents, can vote in either primary, but that's for May and June, and it is not for November.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. We have a couple of questions. Do you have a few more minutes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. Good morning, Ryan. You're on with Will Sutton, Eddie Francis, and our registrar, Lisa Manning Bridges.
Morning. How y'all?
Fabulous. How are you?
Good. Yes, I redirected a little bit. I had something to say, but I was curious, with this petition, and obviously that the signature would not be valid unless a voter is registered in the state.
Correct.
So as people try to go and sign a petition and then realize that maybe they're not registered, will the registrars be able to handle the influx in that? And is there time to register before the 6-month period is over and then them still be able to sign the petition with a valid, is that a reality, or are we looking at just the people that are registered currently?
Well, thanks, Ryan, for the question. I am not familiar with the process for the petition. I know that some citizens brought it. However, we're registering people every day. If you would like to become a registered voter in Louisiana, please go to the GoVote app or the GoVote site and register to vote. I'm not sure if you signing it depends on when you registered or not. So I would suggest you go ahead and register anyway so that you can become a voter in our state if you're living here.
Yeah. Is there a cutoff time? I mean, there's a cutoff time pre-election or pre-primary, I think at least.
For every election, it's 30 days before the election. The book is closed.
And then after that election, does it reopen?
It stays open. We just don't process anything until after the election.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Lord's blessings. We thank you for calling in. Just a couple of quick notes. And we've got Alicia on the line. We want to get that call in as well. Basically, on recalls for elected state and local officials, judges included, you need 20% of registered voters to get a recall. And that changes according to voter population. So the number of registered voters for a district or a seat. So that percentage adjusts. So I don't want to get into all of that. But you have 180 days to gather signatures. It can be only 90 days if it's like a small place, like some of us have relatives and friends in the country. So there are a number of steps to this, but you're talking about a recall petition that was started last week, and it is picking up some steam. As I understand it, the number they have to hit is 600,000, not a small number, 600,000 to be able to move forward with that recall opportunity for voters to consider. All right. Good morning, Alicia. You're on Will Sutton, Eddie Francis, and, of course, our registrar, Lisa Manning-Bridges.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, Lisa. It's Alicia Plummer.
Hey. Miss Alicia.
Part of my question was answered already because people have been asking me if I vote Democrat in the primary, must I vote Democrat in the open? And I did tell them, so you confirmed what I had been telling people. But real quickly, I know the state runs the early voting, correct?
The registrar runs the early voting, and the clerk here in Orleans, the clerks run the election day.
Okay, but the people in the sites, they're state people, correct?
They're both. State and registrar staff.
Because out at the chef location, there's always state people. I've never seen any local people, but it's always been state. But also,
we have 2 locals there, but the SOS sends assistance for the larger parishes. So we and a couple of other parishes get assistance from SOS.
Okay. And I'd like to dispel the lies and stuff that were told on the recall that Belden Noonan Baptiste was involved in when they talked about, you weren't there, Lisa. You were not the registrar then, so, you shouldn't take that heat. But the lies about the Mickey Mouse and the Donald Duck people registering. I saw that operation, and that was an operation that when you presented, they pulled you up. If they couldn't find you, they called the registrar's office to get the information to see if you were a registered voter, your precinct, and everything. And if you all remember, Noonan Man was at the registrar's office and saw the boxes just sitting out on the counter. And so when people want to tell the misinformation about the petition to recall, please don't believe them. That was a real organized operation. And go register. If you want to participate in this recall, go register the day before yesterday. And then you'll be safe and you'll be able to sign that petition because you have to be a registered voter. Thank you. Thanks for all you do, Lisa.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Lord's blessings, Alicia. Have a fabulous day. We're going to have to take a break real quick. Let me respond to Alicia. The operation was organized. There were tables, there were tents, there were canopies. People were trained on laptops and on tablets. You stopped, threw on your blinkers, or you parked, or you walked up, and they pulled you up to see where you were registered voters. They asked people to register if they weren't registered, and so they could proceed to sign with that recall effort. So there's that bit of info. We're still going to have calls, but Lisa, thank you so much for joining us on WBOK this morning, the Good Morning Show. Always good to get this information clarified. As you know, you're going to say this every day, multiple times a day, but somebody is going to have a question. And right here at WBOK Good Morning Show, we want to clarify as much as we can each and every day and on up into and through the election. So thank you so much for your time.
No problem. And can I add, I don't want the inactive voters to get lost in all of this.
Yes.
So if they found themselves on the inactive list, still come out to vote.
Right. 38,000, I believe, was the number for Orleans Parish. And but just because you're on that list doesn't mean you can't vote. It means you should vote so you can maintain your registration. All right. Lord's blessings, and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Bye, Eddie.
Bye-bye.
We're going to take a break. And, Ben, we see you. James, please call back. It is 8:52 a.m. We're going right to the break. It is 12:30 a.m. WBOK, 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
It's Author Time with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
The U.S. Supreme Court has dealt a serious blow to the Voting Rights Act, a decision with far-reaching consequences for minority voters, especially African Americans and others, whether they realize it or not. In a 6-3 ruling, the conservative majority of the nation's highest court struck down Louisiana's second-majority black congressional district. That district, represented by Democrat Congressman Cleo Fields, was created by the Louisiana legislature to ensure fair representation for black voters. Before its creation, Louisiana's congressional delegation included just one black representative, despite African Americans making up more than a third of the state's population. The court's majority argued that drawing districts based on race is unconstitutional, even when the goal is to correct historic underrepresentation. Yet, political line drawing, long used to shape congressional maps, especially for the Republicans, remains permissible. The court's 3 liberal justices sharply disagreed, warning that the decision threatens decades of progress made under the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Congressman Troy Carter put it this way, quote, "For decades, the court's majority has steadily chipped away at the Voting Rights Act. The consequences of this decision are immediate and severe. The hard-fought progress that led to the creation of 2 majority black congressional districts in Louisiana is now in jeopardy, end quote. Civil rights leaders warn this ruling could weaken black voting power, not just in Louisiana, but across the nation. The message is clear. If you care about representation, about fairness, about your voice being heard, then vote like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Bottom line, get up off your rusty butts and go vote, damn it. This is Norman Robinson off the top.
That's right. It's party time each and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on WBOK. It's the Throwback Throwdown with DJ Wick as he brings you the best in old school from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2Ks. Plus, the party goes to another level at 9 p.m. with the Throwback Throwdown Party Mix to round out the night. It's the Throwback Throwdown Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
This is Andronica Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation presents the Louisiana Cajun Zydeco Festival. 2 days of nonstop dancing and rhythmic sounds of Southwest Louisiana, Saturday, March 30th and Sunday, March 31st at the George and Joyce Wein Jazz and Heritage Center. Don't miss musical performances by Big Nathan and the Zydeco Cha-Chas, Chubby Carrier and the Bayou Swamp Band, Donna Angel and the Zydeco Posse, and much more. Doors open at 2 p.m. and music begins at 3. This event is free and open to the public. For more information, visit CajunZydecoFest.com.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. This is Will Sutton and Eddie Francis. We love hearing from our listeners, our callers. We're going to go to Ben. Good morning, Ben. Lord's blessings. You're on with Eddie Francis and Will Sutton. You got 1 minute, man, because we got to wrap up.
Okay, it's good to have you back on, Will. Hey, I just wanted to say this. That Jack Landry and this whole recall nonsense, he's the one that pushed for this new district to be drawn that Cleo Fields got elected to. And now he's getting heat from both sides, both from the right and left. One, because he pushed for it to be drawn in the first place, and now two, because the Supreme Court overruled it. So it's not his fault. He's the one that pushed it, and now he's getting blamed because the court ruled that it was illegal in the first place. That's all.
All right. Ben, great point. Lord's blessings. Thanks for calling in. I will say one thing about that. Trump world keeps changing.
Mm-hmm.
So the ardent supporters of President Donald J. Trump keep waiting to see which way the wind is blowing. So they know what they're supporting on any given day.
Yeah.
So you can support something that seems absolutely right in Trump world. And then that very same thing, the next 2 hours, he posts something on social media and it's wrong. It's like, oh, I have to change what I said.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we see going on with the redistricting. All right. Eddie, what a show.
Yes. What a show.
Congressman Cleo Fields and Troy Carter, of course, who got in Troy Carter for his usual conversation with us, non-Calais, and a lot of good conversation and information about early voting and more. But we're going to close it out and make room for the front porch coming up right next after the Good Morning Show. This is WBOK 1230 AM. what New Orleans is talking about
all day long.